So I'm gonna do a story time about how I started dating someone who was in elementary. Okay, so I'm gonna start the story time. So I was around in like 6th grade at this time, and I hadn't dated anyone. This is like basically like my first boyfriend or whatever. And I remember one time I was at a quince, and at that quince I had like at that time liked someone so different, like, you know, a whole different person. And you know, I had like this whole kid at this other time, and me and that kid, you know, at the quince we were like basically flirting. So I wasn't paying attention to anyone else but the boy. And tell me why. I guess after whenever like the quince, my cousin, she tells me, she's like, hey Gigi, there's this boy that thinks you're cute. And I'm like, oh, like, okay, like, who is it? And she's just like, I'm gonna give you his like snap. So I'm just like, all right, da 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 da. And I'm in 6th grade at this time. This is my first boyfriend, so like I'm like super scared. Like, not that like he was my boyfriend at like the exact moment, but you know. So I call him. No, I texted him, and he's like, do you want to call? Or I don't know how we ended up calling. I don't remember if it was because he called me or I was with my cousin, because I remember I was with my cousin and we were like, oh, let's call. I forgot how, but I just remember we were on the phone, and I was like, so I heard that you like me. And he was being very bold. He's like, yeah, I do like you. And I'm like, oh, like, okay, you know. He's like, I thought you were like cute or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And I'm just like, okay, like, we're having good convo, you know. And then that's whenever like we start talking, and he tells me he's in 6th grade, my grade, and that you know, he was online though. Because I'm like, oh, like, if you're there, like, what school do you go to? He's like, I do online. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I never seen him, like, maybe through pictures, but I never seen him. And what's it called? That's whenever I'm just like, you know, we're talking and all that, but I feel like it was nothing serious. I feel like it was just like a like relationship, like, that we said I love you in, and I didn't mean it, you know. Oh yeah, I also forgot that I skipped the part where I asked my mom like if I could like date him and stuff, and she was just like thinking about it, and then she finally thought about it and said yeah. And you know, she talked to him, but it was over the phone. So you know, all that happened. So then it's around like 6 months that we like dated, you know. This guy texted me, and whenever I dated him, I didn't want nobody to know, because it was embarrassing. Like, you know, like, I don't know, like, whenever we were dating, like, I just didn't want to know. I don't know why. Like, not that like I was trying to like talk to other people, I just didn't want other people knowing. Like, you could say I was like embarrassed of him, you know. But I've never seen him until after we broke up, which is kind of crazy. And this guy, this boy, you know, he texts me, and he's like, are you Gigi? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, are you dating this guy? And we're gonna call him Boyo. That's what we're gonna call him. So he's like, oh, are you dating Boyo? And I'm like, why? Like, you know, he's like, because he's going around like showing pictures of you, talking about, oh, this is my girlfriend, da 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 da, trying to make his ex jealous. And I'm like, oh, like, so then I'm just like, hold on, like, you got the wrong person, because the person I'm talking to don't go to school, remember? And then that's whenever he's like, no, he does. And I'm like, well, I haven't seen him in my school, so what's going on? That's whenever I get told this boy is in elementary and he's a 5th grader. And I'm like, and now you see, I have no problem whatsoever with like a 1-2 year age gap. The thing is like, the problem was, first of all, you lied. Second of all, it looks very wrong when you see a middle schooler dating a elementary kid, even if it's just like 1 year difference. Like, if you were in like 6th and 7th and you're dating, that is fine. But if I'm like in middle school dating an elementary kid, yeah, no. I don't know why I feel like I'm gonna have to make a part 2 for this, because it's already 5 minutes, which I don't know how. Back to the story though. I'm just like, what the heck? Like, this is weird. Like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong, you know? So then I text Boyo, and I'm like, are you in 5th grade? He's like, no, why? I'm like, are you lying? Because I just got told you were. And he's just like, no, they're lying, da 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 da. I'm just like, for real? So then I showed him, and that's whenever he finally admits it. I'm just like, you can stop lying, like, for real. And then that's whenever, like, you know, I'm just like, what the heck, you know? And I'm just like, I don't like liars, you know? And I'm pretty sure he told me that I don't know if I'm wrong, and I don't want to be like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to talk to that boy, but like, I'm pretty sure, if I remember, he was because I got catfished a couple times, not just one. I'm pretty sure he was the one that told me he was supposed to be in 6th grade, but he got held back. So I'm just like, okay, like, that's fine, but you could have just told me, you know? So then that's whenever he's like, oh, like, I'm sorry, like, I didn't tell you. And I'm just like, I don't do that. Like, you know how bad it's gonna look, like, me, you know, being with someone that age. But, you know, so after that, we ended up, like, being done. I'm pretty sure if I remember, yeah, we broke up because, you know, I left him. And then after, he still tried getting with me, even after, like, I had a boyfriend and all that. So here comes the funny part. I have never seen this guy in my life, right? Like, not guy, this boy at that time. I've never seen him. And he never told me what size he is. He's never told me, like, really, like, how he actually looks in person, you know? Just I seen through pictures, and not really my type. Even when we were together, he just wasn't my type, you know? Like, he was in the category of my type. He just didn't fit into it, you know? And so around this time, you know, I'm with someone new, you know, and that guy, the guy after him, I consider that guy, like, my first boyfriend, because, like, you know, why would I want to consider someone who I was with who catfished me, like, together, you know? So, I remember whenever I was with that guy, like, the new guy, I was at a football game because, he was a football player and I was a cheerleader. Okay, so, I'm watching him, right? Like, I'm just watching, at that time, my boyfriend play, well, my ex now, and I look, like, you know, to the side, and all I see is some small little, like, I want to say, like, 4, not even 4'11", like a good, like, 4'5" sized kid. Like, he looked like a 9-year-old, and I'm like, and he was, like, very scrawny, you know, very small, and I'm like, why does he keep looking at me? This boy is, like, straight just basically, like, not stalking me, but watching me from a distance. And I'm like, who is that? Like, I'm scared. So whenever he gets a little closer to me, I look good, and I'm like, there's no way. Ooh, that is a lot. And it's the guy. It was Boyo. And I'm like, you're lying. And I'm like, there's no way, like, that's him. Like, you're lying. Da 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 da. Sad part of the story, no one was lying, and that was him. And I literally felt so weirded out. Like, there's no way. He's just sitting there watching me. Like, man was literally behind the bleachers just sitting there, like, looking at me. Like, I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't finish my makeup, but I finished the story. So, yeah. Bye-bye.